All right, I want to do this deck list before this deck gets hit, and because I've been doing I've been doing really good with the deck, having a lot of fun, topping a lot of my locals, having a lot of fun with the deck, and I think the deck's going to get hit soon. Not the deck in itself, like the archetype, but the cards I'm playing in the deck. So I'm going to make the deck list video now. We're playing Ryugi. We're playing 60 cards. We're going to get into that soon. This portion, like the deck list portion, is going to seem long, but you're going to hear me cover this in the combo part of the video, where the deck is kind of simple in a way. It's not that long, hard to understand. It's just explaining what they do that makes everything longer. With that being said, I'm going to get into it. I'm trying to get this part less than 20 minutes because it's so complicated. I'm going to start with the monsters. You have Nispa. We play 3 of him. I just got to get the other ones real quick. But he has 2 effects. The first effect is when he's scaled, activate effect to search for a Ryugi card, a non-pendulum Ryugi card, and then destroy him. Second effect is if a monster was destroyed in the monster zone, right, you can... if a monster on the field is destroyed, you can tribute a Ryugi monster, special summon it. And when you special summon it, same effect, mind you. When you special summon it, you can destroy up to 2 cards you control and place that many Ryugi continuous spells face up. Going to be very important going forward. Then you have your Dark Dragon. Instead of going over their names, I don't want to confuse you, so I'm just gonna go over describe them essentially. The Dark Dragon has 4 effects. The first effect, when it's in a pendulum zone, right? You cannot, it says continuous effect, you cannot pendulum summon except for Ryugi monsters. Second effect is if your opponent activates a card or effect in response to a Ryugi spell, card, or effect, you can, this effect right here does not start a chain. It happens when the chain is winding down, like Raziel Cross, or the Verniself monster. You can negate the effect and destroy this card. Now, so your opponent says, hypothetically, you activate this, you activate the effect to search, right? Your opponent goes, Ash, you will go, sure, I have no chain to it. You passing you back priority. I have not. I'm like, hey, does it resolve? They'll be like, yeah, it resolved. I have nothing else to chain to it. Sure. On a resolution, I'm going to negate it by destroying this. It doesn't start a chain. You know what I mean. Blah, 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 blah. And second effect is, if it's in your hand, you can tribute a Ryugi monster from your hand or field to the graveyard. Sorry, tribute a Ryugi monster from your hand or field, special summon it. This card says when it's special summoned, a whole different effect, mind you, target a card in the field, destroy it. So free removal also can trigger your Nispa. Let's proceed. Let's go over the rest of the monsters, and then we'll go into spells and traps. You have your Bricks, your Sea Serpent, Worms, and your Dinosaur. We play 1 Dinosaur because I'll explain all these 3. Their effects work the same way. They have 3 effects. 3 effects. 1 is to summon them. 1 is how they search for their corresponding continuous spell. The third effect is what they do with their own continuous spell by putting it to the bottom of the deck and using it and doing an effect. That is spell speed 1. So we start with the Dinosaur. The Dinosaur, you can shuffle it back into the deck to search for its continuous spell. It's a Dinosaur continuous spell. The second effect is if 2 or more cards were destroyed this turn, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. The third effect is you can put the Dinosaur continuous spell to the bottom of the deck, destroy face up. You can destroy target cards on the field, destroy them up to as many different monster types that are on the field. So if you're going against like a Fairy Tail player, they have spellcasters. You have Sea Serpent, Worm, Dinosaur, like whatever you have face up on the field, destroy that many cards. Target and destroy that many cards. Then you have our Sea Serpent. Sea Serpent, you discard it from your hand to the graveyard to search for its continuous spell. Second effect, spell speed 1. If 2 or more cards were sent from the hand, if 2 or more monsters were sent from the hand or deck to the graveyard, this turn, spell speed 1, activate, special summon it from your graveyard. Third effect, you can put its corresponding continuous spell from the face-up field to the bottom of the deck to make your opponent banish their hand and draw a new one. Worm, banish it from your hand to search for its continuous spell. To special summon it, if a monster is banished while this card is already face-up banished, and you have 2 other monsters banished already, when that monster is banished, activate this effect, trigger effect, summon this card. This card can put its continuous spell to the bottom of the deck to search for any Ryugi card except for him himself. Now let's go over the spells, and to do that, I'm going to actually start with the continuous spells to put some context into what I just shown you. This is the Worm one, this is the Sea Serpent one, and this is the Dinosaur one. Now I have to explain these cards what they do. The first thing is they have a continuous effect while they're face up on the field. And then their second effect, which is an activated effect, they do not activate. They give the effect to monsters on the field that you control. Kind of like weather painters, but they don't have to be adjacent to them. So they will always give the effect to the type of monster that corresponds to their continuous spell, and Ryugi Pendulum monsters. The type of monster has to be original level, has to be 10 or higher. So let's start with the one we ended with. We're going to start with the worm. This one says during your opponent's turn, any monster sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. Yours and your opponent's. And this gives this effect to worm or monsters who are originally level 10, worm monsters who are originally level 10, or Ryugi Pendulum monsters, right? One other thing to say is that the effect this effect right here that gives it to the other monsters, the cost of it is to put a Ryugi continuous spell to the bottom of the deck. You don't have to put themselves to the bottom of the deck. You can just put any of them to the bottom of the deck. This one says make an opponent's monster attack 0. Important for battle phase shenanigans and stuff like that. You can do it in a battle step. So hypothetically, you have this and this on the board at the same time, and you have, say, these three on the board. Your opponent, you can go activate. This is only during your opponent's turn. Solve once per turn during your opponent's turn. Solve once per turn is very important in a second. You activate this effect, right? You go activate effect, make your opponent attack 0, right? And you shuffle a continuous spell to the bottom. Sorry, you put a continuous spell to the bottom of the deck. You don't have to put itself there. You put a continuous spell, so you can put this one to the bottom of the deck, right? And then now that was your Ryugi Pendulum monster. And then they have another monster on the board. You can go, I'll use this effect. This one will use the effect now, make its attack 0, and I'll put a different continuous spell to the bottom of the deck. Or you can put itself to the bottom of the deck. Doesn't matter. So hopefully that's understood. Let's proceed. This right here, of course, like I said before, during your opponent's turn, banish any monster from the field to the graveyard, and once per opponent's turn, solve once per turn, make opponent's attack 0. This one right here, Sea Serpent, same thing. Ryugi Pendulum monster and Sea Serpent monsters who are level 10 or higher, you can use this effect. Ryugi monsters cannot be destroyed by battle, and this is target compulsed, solve once per turn. I'm going to explain that when I get to the end. When I finally get through the last one, I'll explain why they're solve once per turns. This one right here, Ryugi monster control gain 300 attack. This is dinosaurs and Ryugi Pendulum monsters. If your opponent activates a monster effect on the field whose attack is less than the monster who's trying to use this effect, you can negate the effect. Of course, cost as well is to put this to the bottom, to put a Ryugi continuous spell to the bottom of the deck. Why is it being solved once per turn very important? Because hypothetically, you have something like this and this on the board. Or I got some. I'll get to that later. Pass. Let's continue this and go to the rest.
So I forgot to go over why they're soft once per turn. That's very important. Mainly, what you have to think about is, say you have the Sea Serpent continuous spell on a field, and then you have the Sea Serpent. You activate the effect, target a card your opponent controls, bounce it back to their hand, and then you activate the trap card that summons another monster from your deck. You summon another Sea Serpent, right? If you still have that Sea Serpent continuous spell on the field, you can that new Sea Serpent, even though it's the exact same monster with the exact same name. Because it's a soft once per turn, you can then use that same effect again, the new Sea Serpent, instead of because this way, because soft once per turn is a new copy of the monster on the field, you are fine.
To the spells, we're going to continue. I'll get to that in the next part later. Then you have Ryugi Rising. We play 3 of these. This searches for any Ryugi monster, so it's part of your 1-card combo. Then when you activate it, you can also place a Ryugi Pendulum monster from your hand to the extra deck face up. I almost never do it, but it is very useful when you do need to do it. So yeah, it has a second effect. The second effect is you can banish it from the graveyard to do it. You can only use each effect per turn and only one effect that turn, so it's really, really bad. You banish a Ryugi monster from your graveyard, summon one with the same type from your deck. It's so bad. You have to banish one from your graveyard and summon one with the same type from your deck. Why would you do that? You'll see why this is bad with the next card coming up. I almost never use it. I don't think I've ever used it in a game where I won. Then you have Field Spell. Field Spell, in order to activate this Field Spell, you have to be able to do this next part. You take 3 monsters from your deck, a dinosaur, a sea serpent, and a worm. You banish one, add one to hand, and send one to the graveyard. That's it. The second effect is, if you have, you special summon a Ryugi monster from your graveyard, you're banishing your deck. But in order to do this, in order to do the second effect, you have to have a Ryugi Pendulum monster. Where's it at? No, you have to have the Ryugi Misva and your extra deck face up. Sorry. Yeah. So you have to have this guy. So that's why the quick play spell allows you to place one from your hand face up, which is pretty cool in case like you try to activate this card and it gets actually can't destroy itself, or it gets negated so it can't destroy itself. Pretty cool. Now let's get to the traps. You have the continuous spell where you activate the effect. Quick, you shuffle 2 Ryugi monsters. So first of all, passive continuous effect. Your opponent cannot target Ryugi monsters with card effects. Second effect is shuffle 2 Ryugi monsters from your graveyard, banishment, or hand into the deck. Target a monster on the field, destroy it. And if this card itself is destroyed, you can place a Ryugi. You can set a Ryugi trap from your deck. Place rivalry, the normal trap. It says normal trap. Specifies normal trap. Rivalry is ETLE, but it has to go back to your hand during the end phase. Second effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard. Place a Ryugi continuous spell from your graveyard, banishment, or face-up field to the bottom of the deck and draw a card. Very good, very useful, very important. That's it. You only can use each effect once per turn and only once that turn. Next, I'm going to show you guys a small package we play. It's our Synchro package. Carbonetin, Synchro Rumble, and just Guard Dragon Justicia. You'll see that in a combo portion of the video. We'll keep going. Now, again, I showed the deck is 1-card combo. I'll show you guys in the deck list part. But I'm going to show you guys the ways we get to Misva, which is the 1-card combo. Melody of the Awakening Dragon, you discard a card, and it says search one with 3,000 attack or higher and 2,500 or less defense. This guy is 2,100 defense with 3,000 attack. This guy's 3,500 attack and 25 defense. So you search both of them, full combo. Manji of 10,000 hand searches a ritual. So subspace battle. It's just you just burn your opponent for 1,500 damage and you do your full combo. Let's go into our non-engine, right? So we'll go into that. So we ended with subspace battle. So let's go into Lava Golem. Lava Golem removes a lot of stuff. And some people were like, oh, but what about Rolad? Bro, you Lava Golem Rolad player, and mind you, they cannot special summon their Rolad monsters unless you activate an effect first, because they have to chain to it. You'll activate your Ryugi card, right, like your Ryugi spell. They'll go, I'm going to bounce this Lava Golem to your hand, special summon. You go, yeah, guess what? You responded to a Ryugi spell card or effect, activate effect, Anva, negate, right? And now they gave you back your monster, and you got rid of 2 of theirs. And they can't special summon it. It's really, really good. I really like that. So, and this also deals with so many other things in a format. Like, also, like, you're going against Charmers or whatever, like, not the Charmer Link Monster, right? You just Lava Golem your opponent. They can't be Fusion, XC, stuff like that, but you just Lava Golem them. You don't care about Super Poly and stuff like that. You just Lava Golem them instead. Also, with Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon, after you Lava Golem your opponent, you put this in Spell and Trap Zone, and then you just go into battle, destroy this and a monster they control. You go and swing it for 9,000 lethal. Then we have Radiant Typhoon Visions to make the deck move. But yes, the main deck the archetype only plays this as a quick play spell. You have so much else. You have MST, Crossout, Super Police, Called By, Fallen into Virtuous, Droplets, Book of Eclipse. And then you also have things like, other options like Talents, Thrust, Prosperity, Instant Fusion because we play Millennium Miser Strict. These are Crossout targets. Extra deck time. Super Poly targets, Garura. Mud Dragon. Why? Because Zaylin and back-to-back is Mud Dragon. I took out Theseus because I didn't need it. Every time Theseus was important, I literally just did it. Like, Mud Dragon was just already readily available. Millennium Miser Strict for the instant fusion. Draco's Tapella because there's a lot of fusion decks actually. Thought that was pretty funny. Like, I went against like an Azamina Mitsu deck, and I was like, Super Poly, take the Ilia Sylvia and your not Habakiri, the one that negates, make Draco's Tapella, and they were like, bro, there's no way. Yes, there's a way. We play 3 Fallen into Virtuous, but because like I've tried the Dark Dragon, the Dark Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon, I'm not gonna hold you with this deck. I'd rather just play 3 Albion. I've tried Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon, and I think I will put her back in the deck if Albion gets hit instead of Fallen into Virtuous. And mainly because I'd rather have the pop readily available every single turn, back to back, than a shuffle back and no way to get to another pop. You know what I mean? So that's why. And then we also have like our end board piece. Like if we go full combo, which you'll see, virtuous, clear wing synchro over dragon, clear wing synchro dragon, Transcendosaurus, Glaciosaurus, Crimson Dragon. The only cards that we do not have currently in this list that are missing that are in the list is a Link 2 monster. I forget the name of it. It's a dragon monster. It says target a monster this card points to. So summon a monster from your hand with the same level from your hand in defense position, but negate its effects. You're only playing level 10s. That's all you care about. That's all you have. The other one is Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon, which is not here. And Cosmic Blazar Dragon, that's the only other thing. But I find myself more often going for a Clearing Synchro Over Dragon, because when they remove this, you summon back the Clearing Synchro Dragon. So you go from a negate to another negate and an unaffected monster. I thought that was pretty cool. Next part of the video, combo time. Alright, I'm going to show you guys the combo video. Before I start, people will tell you all the time, oh, your combos are really long. Combos are not long with this deck. And for the sake of this, for the combo tutorial, I literally only need to show you one line, because every line that you do or every combo that you attempt to do is literally some variation of this, shortened. It will never be extended past the point I'm showing you, because it's like needless extension. And so I'm going to show you this. So I'm going to show you the 0 to 100 combo, and also, like, you know, just to make it fun, we'll pretend like our opponent has a hand trap in their hand. But I want to say three things. Like, one thing, the deck is a 1-card combo. 2, you want to see Misfa, and we have 1,000 cards to get to Misfa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 cards that get to Misfa or are Misfa in itself, right? And typically when people say this deck takes a long time, it's because of one of three things. Your opponent is stalling you, you're slow playing, you're a scumbag, or 3, your opponent doesn't really know what's going on, and you're busy explaining the cards to them. And that's not really entirely on your opponent, because the cards work in such an unorthodox manner that your opponent doesn't really grasp what effect you're using at the time. And I'll tell you a fun thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Your opponent doesn't have to know what you're going for, what you're doing during your turn in order for the game to be played. Your opponent just has to know what you're doing at that moment, like what effect are you activating. So oftentimes I'll be like, here, this is the card I'm activating, I'm using X effect. And after that, that's all you have to do. And I'll also throw in a part where I'm like, hey, if you need me to explain anything or X how it works, I can do that for you. Just to make it simple so you can continue playing while they read the card. Right? So we'll pretend like we start with this. Oh, I'm showing you guys the 0 to 100 combo, right? So I'll just get this guy as well. This guy does not, he's not really a combo piece, but he does contribute to the end board. So and also, the reason why I'll start with this as well is because if you don't start with him in hand, almost every card that get this guy can get this guy as well. And he also can get this guy for himself. So like this right here will get this. If you already have the field spell, you can use this to get the quick play that gets this. Subspace Battle gets both of them at the same time. Melody of the Awakening gets both of them at the same time. Manju gets him, so you can use a quick play spell to get this guy instead. So it really doesn't matter. So for in this situation, again, I will just pretend like we have both of these in hand. Scale. Activate the effect to search and destroy itself after you search, right? Search, field spell, destroy this. Activate Warzone. Warzone says, get 3 monsters, a sea serpent, a worm, and a dinosaur, add 1 to your hand, add 1 to your banished, and add 1 to your graveyard. So we will get our sea serpent, our worm, and then Carbonetum will be our dinosaur. Very important for the 0 to 100 combo, you'll see. You will banish your worm, send Carbonetum to the graveyard, which is our dinosaur, and add your sea serpent to your hand. Activate your sea serpent to search for its continuous spell. You will get Sea Spiders. Now you have 1 card in your hand, right? Then you will activate the effect to summon 3 Yu-Gi monsters with different types. 1 from deck, 1 from graveyard, and 1 from banishment. And your opponent goes, Ogre, Ash, Bell. You can go, hey, sure. Do you have any? I can't respond to that. You have anything are you doing anything else? Passing you back priority. No, I'm not activating anything else. Okay, so on resolution, as it's resolving, I'm gonna use Anva's effect to negate it. What? You can't do that? Yeah, bro. So the way this card works, it works like that Venoself monster or Ryzeal Cross, where it negates as the chain is winding down, so it doesn't start a chain, it doesn't activate. As the chain is resolving, you can just use the effect to negate, right? And you destroy yourself to use the effect. So you resolve this, summon, and summon. If your opponent has a monster on the board, you can get another copy of this to summon and target, or any card on the board. Get another copy of this from your deck to pop a card on the board, because that's what it does when it's summoned. But on a new chain, activate the effect because it was destroyed. Place a Ryugi continuous spell trap face up on your field. Right? You place Ryugi, and now your Ryugi monsters have targeting protection, and you can shuffle 2 Ryugi monsters from your hand or graveyard or banishment into the deck to target a monster on the field. Destroy it. Let's continue with our combo from here. These two you leave Enva. You do not put the monster you're making in your extra deck face up, extra monster zone face up, because you need the space in case you want to summon Misva, because the Pendulum monster, it can only summon to the extra deck face up. Sorry, extra monster zone. I keep saying extra deck face up to the extra monster zone because it's a Pendulum monster. Or to his own link monster points to, but we're not summoning any link monsters. You summon Virtuous, and then you go Carbonetta. Remember we set that to the graveyard in the beginning of our combo? Banish. Summon a normal monster from our deck. Summon Justicia, which is level 2 tuner. 1 and 2 in graveyard to make Crimson Dragon. Crimson Dragon effect to search for a Synchro spell card. You get Synchro Rumble. Activate Synchro Rumble effect to summon back Justicia. And your opponent, remember our opponent Ash Belled Ogred us, right? And we negated it with Anva. We use Waters of the Sea Serpent effect to special summon itself. 2 and 10 again. Make another 12. Here you'll make Crimson Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon, but it's not in this store here. Waiting for it to come. So you'll use Frostosaurus, or Transcendosaurus Glaciosaurus instead. End phase effect, activate effect, target. You just do this on end phase to dodge certain things, right? Activate effect, target to shuffle back into the deck. Boom. You will summon either Crimson Blazer Dragon, Crimson Blazer, whatever. Cosmic Blazer Dragon. I like summoning this guy because if this guy gets removed, you just have another negate coming out immediately after, right? So here, on this alone, you have 3 things. You have a negate. Where's my deck box? Negate, right? And then if you want to destroy the card, you can remove another material to destroy it. All the time I don't, especially because it's normally a spell, right? You'll negate, destroy. Activate effect, negate something else. Your opponent puts a monster board, activate effect, shuffle 2 back, target a monster on the field, destroy it. I love that. I like that a lot. And then, like, on top of it, like, it doesn't look like a lot here, but truth be told, this will be Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. You can target a monster your opponent controls, make it a continuous spell. This is really good against, Kill Tune, because it stops, like, if they try to Cool Tune Synchro, you just activate the effect, put their monster back in a continuous spell, and make it a continuous spell. They thought that was pretty cool, actually. And for me, that doesn't seem like a lot, truth be told. You also have this, which is a compulse, or you can you can use it to banish your opponent's hand and make them draw a new one. And that's like, without having, things like, if I can find it, Cross Out, Droplets, Book of Eclipse, Super Poly, Fallen in a Virtuous, things along those lines to also help out your combo. And again, this is a 0 to 100 combo. This is just a 0 to 100 combo. Everything else you do will be some variation of this, or just trying to put monsters on the board so you can attack for game. I'll give you an example. You don't even have to do the full combo, make Virtuous and stuff like that. You will just make Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon, make your opponent's monster a continuous spell, and then enter battle, pop that continuous spell and a monster they have on the board. You have 9,000 attack already without the synchros, with just all the effect monsters on the board. And then also on top of that, remember I told you when you activate Warzone, you can summon another Anva from your deck instead to target a card on the field and destroy it. So you just have a lot of options to just remove things on your opponent's field. And that's on top of things like Lava Golem, Instant Fusion, Droplets, Super Poly, Book of Eclipse, things along those lines, Fallen in a Virtuous. You just have a lot of options available to you to just remove your opponent's board and just go for a game. And a lot of times, if I'm going second, I've also chosen to go second a lot of times too. And people just get so confused. They're 60 cards and you want to go second. I'm yeah, because I can win right now. I can literally win right now. But yeah, I'm gonna redo the deck list part.